Greg's. All right, thank you everybody for coming to April 6th, 2023 Town Council work session. It is right at 7 o'clock. The call to order and pledge of allegiance. Bill, can you lead us in that, please? Oh, did Kelly want? I apologize, Bill. Let Kelly do that.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kelly. Good job. All right, well, oh, my goodness. Hopefully y'all heard me on that one. I apologize. I just noticed my mic was off after all of this. Public comment. The town of North Beach welcomes public comment. Please state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes. The comments at a work session is pertaining to the agenda that is presented. So if anybody has any comments, there's nobody out in the public audience, but we do have some people online that more than welcome to type in. And then we'll wait a minute. All right, do we have anything before we move on? All right, let's move on to the first item, which I'm excited to talk about because the information we received. As you know, we went out to bid for our new trash contract. And I think we went out to, we had 17 companies on the master list. And then we end up having 4 come in, and at the last minute, 1 did not show up. 1 sent us an email or email letter states that they're not going to bid, and then we had 2. The 2 that you received are in your board. You received them in the board docs. They're also online for the public to view. So tonight is the discussion. It is not a vote. It is a discussion. Joanne is here. If you have any questions for Joanne and myself, we've had a lot of conversations today. Hopefully you had a chance to review it. I'm excited about the numbers. And just so everybody knows, what I did do is a couple weeks ago, I had staff reach out to some trash companies to say, all right, I'm an individual and I want to get trash service at my house. What would it cost? And I got some information back. It's handwritten. It's just, I'm just letting you know, it has nothing to do with the bid, but just to show you how amazing our what we're offering. And what we have in our proposal is far ahead of everybody else that they're receiving. If somebody else calls these trash companies, they're not going to come close to receiving the service we're receiving at all, not even close. So that was encouraging when we saw that. And then you saw the breakdown that was presented at Stacy sent out. And then within that, you have the 2 actual bids from the 2 companies. One bid was Evergreen. And one was Southern Maryland Recycling, Inc. So you have all that information in front of you. And tonight is about discussion. We have Greg online. I believe he's the only council member online. We have Paul here. We got Marion. We got Mickey. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys to ask any questions you have, any concerns you have, and Joe and I will do our best to answer them to our best of our ability. Stacy's also online, I believe.
I am here, yes.
So she can also, obviously, she's the one that led the way getting the information out for the RFP. But in today's environment, where everything from detergent soap to to lawn seed is going up in price due to inflation and everything else. I was very encouraged with the numbers that came in, and I think our residents are going to be very happy with that. So I'm going to turn it over to council now. Any questions?
I noticed that we had no hazardous waste bids.
No, we couldn't even find a trash company that would even talk to you about it.
Okay,
What they said is that they would recommend, because it's so infrequent, what you don't want to do is have people store them waiting for that day to happen. And that because Calvert County Landfill and so forth offers that service. And also we just sent a blast out, Dawn did. Calvert County just did an announcement of hazardous waste or something recently. So they all declined to even look at it.
all right, so it's mainly just for, if we want to do that, make sure we just pass along the county information.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. And that's what we did a week ago,
Yeah.
roughly. So make sure everybody's on northbeachmd.org.
They do that a couple times a year. I need to mention that Greg looks like his video's frozen and oh, look, there he is. I asked him to.
I'm here.
Okay, hi Greg.
Hello.
I just didn't want you to not be able to answer or ask a question.
So
Thank you.
and
I just have one more question.
Yeah, no, please
Do we
do.
have the breakdown for what this would be on the tax bill?
we do not yet.
Okay,
We do not yet.
just so I could put that to,
Next week, you should be able to have that.
okay.
Yeah, you'll have that
Thank you.
and it's gonna be surprisingly, I think, good. So. Actually, our numbers for dumpsters. And let me explain the dumpsters again to everybody. We have a 30-yard dumpster at DPW that stays there year round, that's pulled once a month. Those are debris from DPW. It could be stuff off of job sites, off the streets that we end up picking up from residents. And then we have one 8-yard dumpster that stays at DPW year round. What is that? That's trash from the beach as the trash cans, but also trash from DPW from internal. It's not the debris. It's household trash, kind of, you want to say, or work trash. And then from May, June, July, August, September, maybe October. I think maybe October. I can't remember now. I have to look at it. Hold on. No, September, May through September. There's an additional 2 8-yard dumpsters down at DPW. And that's because we have 57 trash cans that sometimes are empty twice a day in the summertime from the guest
Okay.
and whomever is along the boardwalk or around town. And then we do have the community cleanup, which we are having April 29th, I believe, or
April 29th.
April 29th. We have a new location. We're going to do it between Chesapeake and Dayton, right there on 3rd Street. It's safe. We'll have a total of 10 dumpsters. It'll be one day. It won't be 2 days, but it'll be 10 30-yard dumpsters. And then next year, based on this contract, our goal is to have 2 cleanups per year back to the way it used to be. But it still will stick to one day, just cost reasons and so forth. And I'm trying to think of what else. Stacy, what else would you like to add to this conversation?
I do have a question for you, Mayor. I know Joanne, as you stated, is going to break down the numbers for the tax bill next week. Are you going to have her break down the numbers if the council decides to go with the alternative pricing to include the trash cans and recycle bins?
So you'll see 2 different prices. Well, you'll see 3 prices in here. One is trash pickup. The company that you choose pays for it. Then you see a second pricing of the trash pickup and we pay the tipping fees. Then the third is one of the companies submitted providing trash cans and recycling cans. So we will show all the numbers possible so you can make the best judgment, best decision based off the numbers. Even if we provide, or excuse me, even if that company provides these trash cans, they are still substantially lower than the nearest competitor. So it's something for y'all to think about. Please look at it. What I don't want the town to be, and if you're out there with me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I don't want to be the trash can police. I would love to have the company handle it all, even though we are paying for the trash cans. We want the trash companies to handle it. It is, we don't need to hire somebody just for trash cans and recycling cans.
Okay.
When it comes to recycling, we are going to work with, and I do have a flyer here that we'll put into board docs. It's a rough draft. I'll make sure we add that on here of education to improve the recycling. The provider will help us improve it with education. But when it comes to saying we're going to enforce it, that's not something you could talk to any trash company. It's just not doable. But what we will do is substantially improve education on a regular basis to try to get more residents to recycle. I think we will see a vast improvement if we can just continue to educate on a regular basis. And this way, even a new resident understands the process. So I'm excited about that.
I did see, one of the bidders actually wrote that in on their bidding form, that they would, post contract if awarded, they would provide education and they would help out. I did not see that on the other one. So, but I'm assuming maybe they both would.
They absolutely will. Yes,
I'm just saying, yes, Mary, they will. They both,
They
in the
both
pre,
said-
in the pre-bid meeting that Donnie and I had with them, recycling was a lengthy discussion and they both would like to help with the education portion.
That's good to know, because I saw it written on one, but I didn't see it on the other, but I'm assuming they would if we asked.
Exactly, you're correct.
yes, they will definitely do it. I think you'll see that once we put a program in place, you're going to see a big improvement. And, I think if we can just keep them educated, the new members of the community, but also the long-term ones, I think there's no reason why we can't improve it at all. Any questions before we move on? Again, this is about discussion tonight. We will get the information that Mickey asked for y'all for next Thursday.
On the Southern Maryland bid on page 10, it says alternate pricing, and number 2 is base year credit for no bonds. Does anyone know what that means?
Yes, we require the contractors to have a bid bond. And if once awarded, they will have to maintain a performance bond.
Okay.
So he's offering a credit if we do not require that performance bond from him.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I mean,
Mayor,
excuse me.
Mayor,
Yes.
are you asking, this will be placed on the agenda for next week. Are you asking for a vote on the contract next week, or is it just further discussion?
I think further discussion,
Well, yeah, because it rolls into the budget.
it rolls
right?
into the
It
budget, so.
does.
We can vote on it in May. It doesn't have to happen this Thursday coming up. It could be moved to May. We
Okay,
vote on it.
just asking for my, paperwork
Absolutely.
purposes.
No, thank you. Again, it's not that I'm trying to rush us through, but you could look at it some more, see if you have any other questions. When I reviewed it with, I've talked to Stacy about it and I reviewed it with Joe. I think it's pretty simple decision. The numbers are good and we know the company and I think they're willing to continue to improve their service to us. But again, that's up to you guys. Gals. Any other questions? Greg, you got anything, buddy?
No, thanks. I think
All right.
next month will be good to discuss and then go ahead and drop the vote down.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions? Any other questions before we move on? Joe, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm pleased with the prices, of course. Looking forward to passing it.
All right, thank you.
Do we know, just looking at the one that includes tipping fee versus not, do we actually know what the tipping fee rate is? Like if we were to pay that like per ton or whatever?
It is per ton, but here's my problem. We did that one year and I can't control what happens to that trash truck when it leaves this town.
Yeah,
So whatever's in that truck, we're paying for it. And wherever it comes from, we're paying for it.
Understood. I still would like to be interested
no,
in the numbers though.
we-
And
we
and if we can't. Part of this is we have to be able to trust the people that we're contracting with, right? As part of that as well.
Absolutely. We'll get you the tip and fees cost. I think What we don't know is the tonnage. We don't know really what the tonnage is to be able to, but we'll give you the tip and fees numbers. And then we can, you could divide it into the difference of 29,000 and see what the tonnage would be.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
see if that-
interested in.
Yeah, we'll get you the tipping fees. Now, obviously, our numbers are going to be a lot less than, a lot more expensive than those guys. We don't know. We'll ask and try to get the tipping fees, what they pay.
Well, we just go to, I guess I go to what appeal or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the county standard rate is. That's,
Yeah, let the trash probably appeal,
And
but the recycling somewhere else. This-
yeah, decent.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
that's no problem. I'll make sure we get on it first thing on Monday.
Okay.
No problem. at
thank you.
all.
Just so we can like look at those numbers and actually
Absolutely.
have them mean something. Because right now they're just.
All right,
numbers.
Stacy, take that note.
Got it. I got it.
All right, let's move on to new business items. We have two ordinances, A and B. These are for housekeeping purposes. This is not adjusting anything but housekeeping. It allows us to process things more efficiently within town. And I know Mary deals with this in her day job. And I have Kelly here tonight who also deals with it in her day job to give the facts about it and why these two ordinance, one is for businesses and one is for long-term rentals. Karen's here also who wrote the ordinances. So tonight is about discussion. So what I like to do is I'm going to start off with Kelly. Let her explain her side of it. Pull it closer to you. I need you to talk though, all right? You do have in your packages two ordinances plus a 10,000 foot view of why. And then I want Mary to speak too, because she deals with this same headache in what she does. So Kelly, lead us away.
So basically, it takes me about, well, I say me and code enforcement, 4 hours to handle one rental license. And when you have 494 long-term rentals in town, it takes a long time, to do that work if they all expire all on the same date. So our goal is to have each rental expire when they pass their inspection, and it'll be less time consuming and we'll be able to get our other job done without, feeling pressure.
Try to roll them out like into like a staggered schedule.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just like the vacation rentals are now.
Yeah, so that way it's more manageable staff load then.
Yes.
Yes, so all this ordinance is about is staggering that time frame. Has no impact on anything else, has no changes on anything else. It just allows it when it comes in, that's the date, once it's approved. And we're talking existing too. So it just allows us to get this cleaned up so it's more manageable as a town. And that's what these two ordinances are about. Same thing for our businesses. Instead of waiting once a year to say, all right, all of these, then we have proration, we have all kinds of movements that's just not needed. And so that's why we had Karen, that they addressed the ordinance with this. Kelly's and Croto and Rick, everybody has put a lot of effort into this. And so if y'all have any questions, if not, Mary,
No, I mean, you said it perfectly. It's and it's all about staggering
Right.
and being able to manage that many rentals. There's no way you can do that many rentals in one day.
Right.
It has to be spread over time and to do a good job because you don't want to rush through all these things and miss something.
Exactly.
So it's all about manageability, spacing out, and everyone gets a good
Right.
inspection.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think it totally makes sense. One question, I guess, if we do this, which I'm all for, how are we going to space things out for the existing rentals? Like that-
Inspection dates.
Just by inspection date?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So just, okay.
yeah, they'll still,
And they'll,
We can do like, I think 5 inspections a day if we can get them set up. That doesn't always happen, but that's when their expiration dates will be 3 years from that passing inspection.
okay. So for this first set is almost like there's going to be some like, I guess, grace period almost to some degree.
Right.
Until they get to that first inspection. And then after that, then everything will be.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. That
yeah,
sounds
it's
great.
going to take a little bit of time. And also in our budget, you'll see that I'm requesting to hire an additional code enforcer that would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday. So their goal, my goal with them is the parking situation, trying to address that on a regular basis. Because weekend is when we're slammed and holidays, and that's why they would be needed. And then any time available, they would step in and be able to do some inspections on weekends when there's some people that are off on weekends. So we're gonna be able to use this person to knock out a lot of stuff. And I just think residents will appreciate it. But this cleanup, and there's some other language in there, please take a look at it. And then if you have any questions next week, we could talk about it. But the biggest part is the main part is really the inspection timeframe. So anybody, any questions? Greg, you have any questions?
No, we can talk about the additional person at another time, but yeah, this is definitely the way to go. So thank you for jumping on this.
All right, thank you. Any other question from council here right now? All right, let's move on. So the next item is the 2024 fiscal year 24 general fund budget. This is you received it earlier in the week. It's on board docs for residents to look at. And if you have questions tonight, great. If not, obviously, our goal is to answer as best of our ability as much as possible. Joanne is here tonight. I can tell you that the presentation of the budget, Joe, I think did an amazing job. I love the pie charts to show you the money, show you the cost. I think we're very blessed as a town. If you listen to any other municipality, county, state, with inflation, the cost of things going up, everything went up. I apologize. I can't control it. Everything is going up. Mutt mitts went up, dog bones went up, you name it, it went up. And I think after many, many hours, many Saturday mornings with Joanne, I think the general fund looks good. But please, if you have any questions tonight, please pass it on. If not, please reach out to her throughout the week. We still got a couple meetings to go through. We still got, water, sewer, capital improvements, and community outreach.
May 4th.
May 4th. So does anybody, based off of what you have in your possession now and what you've had for the last 3 days, anybody have any questions at this time for Joanne?
I can find it and I may already know the answer.
Cool. Take your time. When you look at it, you have the actual PDF that Joanne sent out that has the overview of the budget. Also, you have the spreadsheet that has a lot of the description and explanation beside it. She tried to make sure that it answered your questions. And I think overall, she nailed it. Doing a budget in today's environment is not the easiest thing to do. And, overall, I think we did a good job. I'm sure there's going to be some questions. Some of the items that did go up, but it's just like our own house. Its cost goes up. But I think we get a lot of bang for our buck for our staff that what they do. And same thing with the property taxes, the constant yield. We put the explanation of the constant yield in there. I don't know, Joe, what else you want to throw out there?
Well, we're going with it's proposed to stay at the constant
Yes.
yield rate, which actually lowers our tax rate. As you see from some of the graphs, the assessments have consistently gone up from year to year. What else? There's some things that I wanted to point out for you. Oh, the differential. I have it at 0.336 from the county. And if you don't know what the different tax differential is, there's a little bit of an explanation in here and how it impacts the town. Basically, the county rate is reduced by 0.336 for all residents who live within the municipalities because we provide services that the county wouldn't have to provide. That is a direct benefit to residents. The town does not receive that money. So that money goes directly to the residents in the form of reduced taxes. But we still have to pay for the deputy sheriffs as part of our contract and things like that. And as you can see, as we go through, that has gone up considerably. So you might be exceeding the benefit of that differential. It's just the thought. Anyway. We talked about the constant yield. The constant yield tax rate is 0.5564. You did the trash review for that, and again, next week we'll talk again on it. And please stop me if I'm going too fast. I'm trying not to make this a long drawn out thing because you have most of the information
So,
in front of you.
In there, and I know last year was a discussion, and I think Councilmember Dotson brought it up, was COLA.
7%,
So and that's the same as,
Calvert County.
so just so y'all know, but it's in there, it's broken out, it shows you what the dollar amount is. So just want y'all to know that.
The penalties for interest and penalties on taxes, that's been reduced to $4,600 because there was an anomaly in FY20 where we actually collected 53,000 from the county in penalties. That's the year that they were having a tax sale, so it was a lot of money at that time, but it kind of distorts the picture of what the actual normal penalties are. So I reduced that number so it's more realistic. HUR funds, which are highway user revenue funds, those are increased by $27,000. And in 2018, Greg will remember this, they changed how the municipalities get their revenue for HUR taxes. Instead of going from the gas tax, they actually called it a transportation grant. And so it's straight fund to the municipalities based on roads, improvements, debt, all those things are incorporated in the formula for receiving your revenues. If you didn't know that little tidbit, now you know, it was 2018. Calvert County, hotel tax, Kelly can tell you this, tax is 5%. Of the 5%, North Beach gets 95, and then Calvert County charges an administrative fee of 5%. Those have been surprisingly well, and more, I think, Kelly, you're catching these as they are not legal VRBOs, but they do become compliant pretty quickly once code enforcement gets a hold of them. So that's an improvement. And then let's talk a little bit about gambling revenue. Gambling revenue, I took an average of 3 years. Now I did not, and that's a little note at the bottom, I did not use 2020 because that was distorted due to the pandemic. So on average, it's $455,000. And I used that number. I've always been conservative on that number consistently, but now the average puts us at the 455. I still believe it to be a conservative number, but it has increased. North Beach Police Grant increased by $11,000. That's an annual participation that we apply for. And general grants, they increased by 11. That's the police fund grant. They increased. Actually, I'm on page 8 of the notes as we go through. Some of the main things that you'll see within the budget are a town administrator. And again, you mentioned the part-time person, an additional part-time person for code enforcement. Museum expenses, you see that they have increased considerably. That's because they weren't paying them minimum wage. They were only paying them $10 an hour. And nowhere can I find that you would ever pay anybody $10 an hour. So that's been corrected. And with that, that becomes an increase. And then the deputy sheriff's contract, that went up by $52,000 this year. So that's basically the revenues and some of the highlight of the most major expenses. You have the pie charts I gave you, but just a little breakdown just for review. Taxes are only 55% of our budget. Local income tax and other that we get from state is 4%. Highway user is 4%. License and permits is 8% of our budget. Gambling revenue is 13% and general grants is 1%. Waterfront development which is basically Phil's Jandra, 12%. And then MLGIP reserve is represented in here by 3%, which we're requesting money from that reserve. It's not the full reserve. Okay, so that's revenue. And our total budget for this year is $3,660,932. Which is, a slight increase, or it's only 3.65% over last year's prior budget. But I can run down these expenses if you like, Mayor. How much detail do you want me to go into?
If you want to, just go high level on a couple items because
Okay.
it's in writing, they have it, they can review it, so.
Let's start with page 10 of the notes. Page 10, it's basically the 7% COLA that we talked about. And the new position for town administrator. And there was a line item in FY23 for the new accounting system. But this also includes the annual renewal fee for that. If you don't know it, which you probably don't, our accounting system is dated back in 2002. Now it's had upgrades, so don't be shocked. It's been upgrades, but that's how old it is. So we went with a new web-based program, and I think you'll be very impressed with it. The administrative or legislative costs, FY23 versus FY24, there was a reduction of $7,000 over last year, cost-wise, on that particular group of expenses. And on page 10, we have the total administrative expenses. There was an increase of $117,508, and those items were the town administrator for 85, the part-time code, which is an additional, I think it was 22, towing services under code enforcement, it's 5,000, 4,000 for we call it hazardous abatement, but it's abatements for zoning infractions that need to be corrected. Like, for example, a tree or trash that's in the yard that they were told to pick up.
And we have, as you know, we have a constant battle right now with this gentleman on, it's on Greenwood, the paper or the road that doesn't exist between 5th Street and 4th Street. And we have to abate that on a regular basis. This gentleman goes around picking up people trash and piles it up right there. We've gone to court so many times. The judges have now told us don't ever come back in front of them again. We've gone through 2 states attorneys who said you're stuck in the middle. There's nothing you could do. Just keep abating. So, you know, we communicate with the resident that lives right there. We've had a recent public request. We reached out to them. We told them what was going on. But so when you look at our abatement, we try to clean it up to put it under the proper location. So some things you'll see we moved around, and that's because we thought there was a better location for it. But those are the type of an abatement or somebody who we have to go, the yard is messed up. So, you know, if we got to do it, then we got to pay for it. And then we go back and try to get our money. So just so you know what that is. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, under professional services, page 11, $5,000 reduction. I kind of took down the attorney fees by $5,000. The only, my thought was, I hope that it was not as exciting as it was last year, this upcoming year. So I took it down by 5. Just saying. Yeah, I'm just being optimistic there, okay? Okay, so on the next page, we have ground maintenance. That increased by $2,000. That's just one of the things. And then we have salary audit for $20,000. Now I know you see salary audit in FY23, and that is out for bid and should be discussed here shortly. I think it's due back in a month.
Stacy would know the exact time frame, but that is
4/21, it's back.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
so y'all will be seeing it in front of you soon.
But even though they're doing the award in FY23 where you see the 20, I put 20 in FY24 because it's been my experience that when you do a study of that in depth, there are things that it touches that need study further and need changes to. So it's like a big snowball. So then you get everything corrected at one time. So you can do the study and then not correct the things that go with it. That would be a mistake. So that's why that's there. Okay. On the next page, which is total community waterfront development, you'll see that those expenses decreased by 32,000 overall. And that's because we took all the miscellaneous payrolls that are in here for all the events, and we put them under the one line item, which is beach patrol salaries. So there's a breakdown, you have it in your spreadsheet, but those are incorporated there just to make it a little easier for both Phil and myself. So that's what that is. And then on the next page, you'll see total Bayside History Museum. It's an increase of $18,000, but again, I've never seen, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but where you would pay somebody $10 when the minimum wage is $13.25.
It plays in effect if they're under 18, there's like levels of,
There's nobody under 18.
well, I'm just like, I know.
Oh, thank
at-
you.
At my work, it was if you're under 18, if you're like 14 to 16, it's one rate, 16 to 18, it's another rate. And then once you hit 18, it's full minimum wage. So there was like some staggering with that when they started raising it. But
Is
if
that
they're
due
all-
to service or type of
I
service?
don't
like?
think it was service. I think it was strictly age based.
Oh, yeah.
It was when they rolled, it was when they rolled the Maryland minimum wage, when they kept rolling up, they rolled it, I think, into that. They had
Okay,
age brackets, but if they're all over 18, they're.
that's
at-
interesting.
But either way,
Either way.
you're right. The museum is a big asset to the town. Residents love it. Visitors love it. Grace Mary does an amazing job there. We just had to clean up some stuff, kind of like what we did with some other stuff. So it was needed. And I think it's a win-win for everybody. I know we go by there on a regular basis. If you haven't been in a while, you should try to get there. It is truly an asset for this town. So.
And the, within that number is the $3,000 that they paid for special insurance just for the museum piece items, okay? In addition to what we carry on our own buildings and things. The next page and the sections are the waterfront operations. Again, we took the payroll out, we put it in this item, so it increased by about 30 grand total there. Legit general liability insurance, there's a 12% increase across the board for general liability insurance. And that's what's represented here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about sheriff's office. The mayor said there will be no part-time deputies on the waterfront. He and Phil have worked out a plan, so they have a strategy. But the deputy sheriff's agreement went up by $52,000. So you're now at $647,000 for the deputy sheriffs. So just making you aware, they're great. You don't want to be without them. But I'm just saying there's a cost involved. And then talk a little bit about.
Hey, Joe, hold on one second. So when you see the sheriff's information, realize that we are on a 60-40 split with Chesapeake Beach.
But that doesn't represent that.
Well, no. What I'm saying though is that, so the increase across the board, I think it's like 1.1,
Yeah. it's much higher.
I don't know what it is now, 1.6 million, 7 million is the total cost. Chesapeake Beach has 2 additional deputies they pay for themselves. And then we have the rotation of 10 deputies, which includes a lieutenant, a sergeant, and so forth. So the increase of the deputies is not a surprise. You heard it from the county commissioners last year. They did it. The dollar amount we don't know about until the budget comes up. And, we've been in communication with them. I'm doing my best to get them here. And we will continue to do that. So just take a look at it. Whatever questions you have, reach out to us when it comes to the deputies, but really with everything. All right.
Okay, the next section is Public Works. There's no real changes here. It's actually a reduction in Public Works expenses. It's 730,000 in FY24. It was 779. There was a vehicle proposed, but I think that's been reallocated for another area. So that's the reduction that you see there. And then finally, the debt service, no changes there. And should not anticipate any new debt. And again, like I said, you should be proud, we're at only a 3.65% increase over the prior year's budget in all.
He summarized a very large budget, so please go through it. If you have any questions, reach out to Joe. Don't wait till next week. Reach out, get your answers to your questions. But I think we did a pretty thorough job. Obviously, there's always room. It's your job as you know, council to vote on it, to approve it, and then we will make sure we monitor and take care of it. But take a look at it. If you have any questions before next Thursday, get them to Joanne as soon as possible.
Yeah, for next Thursday, could you get like the past 5 years, even with 2020, of the final hotel tax amount for that budget cycle?
Yep. Just add them to your spreadsheet that you're sharing.
Yes.
I'll add a tab.
Yeah, it could just be like like whatever, and I'm just interested in 2020 just to see how much COVID hit it,
Okay,
so.
no worries.
She has it.
Well, yeah, it's like I could probably dig through all my
You don't need
budget
to.
papers, so.
Nope, nope, not at all.
Gotcha.
Any other questions from council online? Greg, you have any questions? Anybody else have any questions, council?
And thank you,
Good
Joanne.
for now.
I just have a question, on the hotel tax and VRBOs and this and that and rental licenses. How many have you found were not registered with a rental license? Was there a significant number? I mean, it's easy to look online like Airbnb, VRBO and see who's on there, in your neighborhood. Sometimes it doesn't give the address though, but
Yeah, but they don't realize there are house numbers when they take their pictures.
Right, exactly. Yes. And I do, and there's ways to get around it. I was just curious how many you found.
There hasn't been too many.
Okay,
And the county, they're knocking them out pretty hard. They actually have a couple of people that ride around looking
right.
after they see them online. But it's not too many.
Okay,
We have
I
two
mean,
parts. We have to babysit the county. I
Yeah,
know, and sometimes we get it all lumped up. Sometimes it's not accurate. Sometimes it's, so luckily we babysit on our end to make sure the numbers are correct. And it's, the hotel lodging tax is, we'll get you that for 5 years, but very seldom do you have anybody we're so small.
yeah,
I mean,
it's hard.
you don't have to put the house number on there. We know what the house looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I was saying. It's probably easy to figure out. I was just curious if there was a big discrepancy in numbers as far as people not.
no, I mean, there's not a whole lot. I just found two recently, so.
Okay. All right.
And that's education, and we'll continue to educate as needed. Any other questions? Oh, Mickey, you have anything? Mary, you have anything? Nope, not for now. Greg, you have any questions?
Not for now, thanks.
Okay, well. Joe, you have any final comments?
I thank you for allowing me time to speak tonight and appreciate it. I'm looking forward to May 4th.
I like the presentation.
Oh, thank you. I try to improve it each year.
Yeah, same here. This was a
Thank you.
good presentation.
Good, thank you. Hi.
Let me tell you something, this is her time, so please. She's worked hard. Like I said, we've been here many
Go ahead.
Saturdays, so I'm very happy with it. I think we can solve some of the challenges we have now, but some of the ideas we put into the budget. Just take a look at it. If you have any questions for me, if you have any questions for Joanne, please get with us. And we'll answer to the best of our ability. So if we don't have any further questions from council about the budget, we are at the final remaining part of the meeting tonight, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moves, have a second? Second, any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
And so, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.